Hello and welcome to Life Coach Confidential. I'm your life coach, here to guide you through the intricate paths of love, healing, and self-discovery. Today we delve into the realm of narcissistic dynamics, a topic that is both timely and deeply personal. I hear this word all the time, and I think it's overused. We've forgotten its origins. In the ancient tale, Echo was deeply in love with Narcissus, a story of unrequited love and self-obsession. Today, we see echoes of that myth in our modern relationships. People caught in a cycle of adoration and heartbreak, loving someone who mirrors the self-absorption of Narcissus. It's a reminder that the very name of the myth carries a warning. A call to recognize the signs of narcissistic abuse and find our own path to healing. I also think it's wise not to throw this word around carelessly. I see it being tossed into arguments, and nothing good ever comes of that. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our guest, a brave individual who's decided to share her firsthand experience. Her story exposes the unsettling reality of being involved with someone whose self-obsession eclipsed any capacity for genuine empathy. With a charming facade that concealed a relentless drive for control and the constant need for admiration. Without further ado, please listen as she tells her story. A first-hand account of being in a true relationship with a narcissist, textbook style, as they say. Let's begin.
I'm sick of sugarcoating it. I met Michael at a party, and he swept me off my feet with his charm and those so-called compliments that made me feel like I was the only person in the room. But behind that smile was something dark, a hunger for control masked as affection. At first, I was dazzled. Every word he said felt like a promise of the perfect love. But as time went on, I started noticing how quickly his sweet talk turned sour. One minute, he'd be showering me with adoration, and the next, he'd tear me down with remarks that left me seething with anger and confusion. It wasn't just the occasional offhand comment. It was a pattern. Every criticism, every dismissive remark felt like a calculated blow to my confidence. His self-absorption soon became glaringly obvious. For instance, when I excitedly shared news of my recent promotion, instead of celebrating my success, he immediately pivoted the conversation to boast about his own work achievements, completely ignoring what I had to say. Another time, I poured my heart out about a family crisis, and he barely offered any comfort. Instead, he spent the entire conversation talking about how his day had been stressful, as if his struggles were the only ones that truly mattered. And it wasn't just in serious moments. Even at dinner, when I mentioned an important event I was looking forward to, he made the discussion all about him, constantly checking his reflection in the mirror and redirecting the topic back to his own interests. I remember one evening, after I had shared something I was genuinely proud of, Michael didn't celebrate my success. Instead, he shot me down, making me feel like my achievements were nothing but a nuisance to him. I was furious, fuming that the man I trusted could reduce my happiness to mere fuel for his ego. It wasn't just hurtful, it was infuriating. I began to see it clearly. The charm was a mask. Michael had an uncanny ability to twist any conversation, turning my vulnerabilities into ammunition against me. Every time I tried to speak up, he'd dismiss me, leaving me to question my own sanity. Friends tried to warn me, but I was too caught up in the whirlwind to listen. I was angry at myself for not seeing it sooner, and even more angry at him for stripping away my sense of worth. One night, after a particularly brutal exchange where his words cut like knives, I reached a breaking point. I realized enough was enough. I wasn't going to let his manipulations define me any longer. I started keeping track of every slight, every hurtful comment, every dismissive remark. a cold ledger of the manipulation I endured. In that moment, I realized I could no longer let his twisted view of love define who I was. I decided to step away from the chaos he had created, to reclaim a piece of myself that he had chipped away. This is not just a story of anger. It's a story of the painful awakening that forced me to finally see the truth about the man I thought I loved. I'm done letting anyone dictate my worth with their twisted definitions of love.
Thank you for listening to that raw and powerful account. Today, we heard an anonymous story that lays bare the effects of narcissistic behavior, marked by self-absorption, gaslighting, and unpredictable hot and cold dynamics. As your life coach, I've taken some time to break down these patterns and their impact on personal well-being and self-worth. First, notice how narcissistic self-absorption manifests. The focus is solely on the narcissist, leaving little room for empathy or mutual support. This creates an environment where your feelings and needs are sidelined. Second, gaslighting, a tactic that makes you question your own reality, erodes your confidence and sense of self. And finally, the hot and cold behavior fosters uncertainty, keeping you emotionally off balance and undermining your trust in what a healthy relationship should feel like. In addition to understanding these patterns, it can be incredibly empowering to know how to respond when faced with narcissistic tactics. Here are some practical ways to reply in specific situations. When faced with gaslighting, calmly assert your truth. For example, you might say, "I remember it differently, and my experience is valid." Stand firm in your reality without getting drawn into their distortion. When confronted with self-absorption, if they continually redirect conversations back to themselves, you can say, "I understand that's important to you, but I also need my feelings to be acknowledged." This gently reminds them that the conversation isn't one-sided. When encountering hot and cold behavior, it's important to set boundaries. You might respond with, "I value consistency and respect in my relationships. If we can't have that, I need to step back." This signals that unpredictable behavior is unacceptable. When they dismiss your feelings, you could say, "I feel hurt when my feelings are minimized. I'd appreciate it if we could discuss this with mutual respect." This approach asserts your needs without escalating conflict. Reflecting on the narrative, consider these questions. Have you ever felt that someone's self-absorption and unpredictable behavior left you questioning your own value? What boundaries can you set to protect yourself from similar manipulation? How might you begin to reclaim your voice and rebuild your sense of self? Recognizing these harmful patterns is the first step toward healing and growth. If this discussion resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe, share your thoughts, and join our community as we continue to explore the path to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Your journey to self-empowerment and genuine connection starts with understanding your worth. Remember, true love should lift you up, not tear you down. Thank you for being here, and always remember, you deserve nothing less than respect and authenticity. It's time to stop accepting anything less than you deserve.